In this episode of the Rockets Chop Pod, we talk about how the Rockets are impacting Jalen Green's development. Are they helping him succeed, or is the team and the structure around him setting him up for failure? We also discuss Tate's fit as he returns back to the squad. How does he fit in now that we've seen what that goon squad looks like with Tari, KJ, and Garuba? And lastly, we chime in on where we think the Rockets are going to get their next victory from, because the schedule does not get any easier. So tap in and enjoy the pod. So if y'all didn't know, the Chop Shop merch store is officially open. The link to the store is going to be in the description of this video. Go to the merch store and check out the catalog that we have developed for you guys. We got on there some great t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers. You can buy stuff for yourself, for your spouses, for your children. My favorite right now is the Jabari t-shirt, and you can check that out at the store. Great t-shirt, little concept with the Dragon Ball Z fusion thing. I'm an old Dragon Ball Z head, so we love to get that on there. You can check out the JG4 Astro Boy t-shirt, and just check out all the great designs on there for all the other stuff that you like to see. This is just the beginning, so if you guys want to support the Chop Shop, go ahead and hit up the merch store. Drop you a couple dollars and pick you up something that you like.
Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of the Chop Shop podcast. I am Space Ghost, and I got my usual suspect with me, F-Tank 58, Mr. Frank, the Breakdown King. What's good, Frank? How you been?
Been hanging in, man. Had a little cold, so I've been down, but you've been holding it down for the Chop Shop, so shout out to you. But we're gonna get this basketball talk in today, try to get some Rockets, talk about some Rockets, and get into these topics. I can't wait.
For sure. And it's been a turbulent start of the season, to say the least. But we do see some bright spots here and there. And one of the bright spots I think we've seen so far is Jalen Green. And one question that's begging to be answered is, can Jalen Green be even better? Is there a key factor that's kind of holding him back? Or is it just all on him and it's all on him? His progression is all on him, or is it outside, denominators contributing to him struggling here and there and not being a consistent 20-plus point a game player so far?
I think for him, it's going to be, it's both, and I think one of the quotes that I always like to use is what Draymond said, that organizations aren't being held accountable enough for the impact they have on these young guys. And that's, the Rockets are no exception. People call players bust, but they don't look at the team. Some teams are bust. You're a busted franchise. If you have all these high draft picks, you can't convert them into being actual players. So for him, it's double-sided, because the player got to have his work ethic, the culture in the organization, the coaches, the front office, the players around them got to be also there to support that individual in being successful. And it's not something that can be separated. And just looking at Jalen's stats from last season till now, obviously he's still early in the season, but I'm looking at his field goal attempts went up by 4, so 14 to 18 now. He's shooting pretty much the same from the field, 42%, shooting way better from 3 at around 37.5%. But if you kept on track with after the All-Star game, so that's pretty on pace with that. He is, pretty much the same in his EFG. His free throw attempts are up by about half. Which is shooting the same from the free throw line, rebounds up by about a half, and assists aren't really up, about the same, steals are about the same, blocks are about the same. He's scoring 21.8 points per game. So, he's been a mixed bag this season. Obviously, he had the slow start. He looked good in preseason, slow start to start, and he's trying to round it into gear now as he dropped, his last 30-point game against the Pelicans. But I think for him, this season is still, to me, like when I look at the path of young guys that are ascending to be that, oh, this guy's going to be a star. The sophomore season is a big indicator of that. Not saying it's a determinant of whether he's going to be great in his career, but like those guys that really pop off early, the sophomore season is big for that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of what you just said, Frank. And I'm gonna take off the glove a little bit. I think you was a little bit, soft on him. Yeah, is Silas holding back Jalen Green, or I'm gonna just leave it out there because people really, it's a discussion now. Is Kevin Porter Jr. holding back Jalen Green. And this is not a wedge we're trying to drive in between, any two players or anything like that. But we know when you have two basically high volume shooters, they kind of either negate each other or, they step on each other's toes in the wrong time. And we seen from the last several games, Jalen been having it going. First 3 quarters, he's cooking. He's doing his thing. Kevin Porter Jr. is really letting him cook first 3 quarters of the game. And then here comes the fourth quarter where Jalen steps back for some odd reason, and Kevin Porter Jr. is try to be the closer or the feature in those closing last 5 minutes of the game, and it's really looking like is he really equipped to be that closer? I would rather see Jalen Green try to close some of these games with his ability to get to the free throw line and everything, because he's starting to go at a higher clip now. That's sometimes is what you need to salt the game away. Get a guy that can go to the free throw line, hit 4 or 5 of them in a row, keep the team at bay. And I think Jalen Green is being denied those early crucial learning steps right now just because Kevin Porter Jr. is his primary decision maker.
First of all, the Silas one, we gonna table that. So let me address the Kevin Porter thing first. I think, and I said this in some of our previous pods that we've talked about, when they played last year with each other, who was on the court with them, Space? It was a bunch of rookies, young guys, dudes that don't really demand anything from them, in the sense that Kevin Porter and Jalen were the two main primary focal points of the offense. Everybody else made their lives easier, whether it was KJ, Sengun, Garuba, whether it was even to a lesser extent Jacob, Garrison. So these are guys that they know their hierarchy on the team, and Jalen and Kevin Porter were 1A, 1B, however you want to flip it, and they were okay with that. Now I'm looking on Cleaning the Glass right now, and this is I think you would find this interesting. So when Jalen is is by himself on the court, without Kevin Porter Jr., the best lineup that they have, the most high usage lineup in that set is one that features Jalen with Deshaun Nix, and Nix and the trio of Kenyon, Martin, Tari, Eason, and Garuba. When he is on the court with Kevin Porter Jr., and if I look at that lineup, the best lineup that they have for that one is one that features Alperen Sengun, Tari, and KJ. Now, it's not that best lineup is not the most frequent, because the most frequent lineup that they have is our starting 5 with the current one that features Eric Gordon. So to me, it's not KPJ that's the problem. It's Eric Gordon that's the problem. That structure there, KPJ gonna get his because he's the point guard. And he gets to kind of determine, I'm gonna get my shots when I want my shots. The other, like, if you look at it like, let's say it's like 60-40. And he naturally point guard gonna get that 60 because he determined who get the ball, he can shoot when he want. That 40's been split now between EG and JG. So it's like 60-20-20. And that goes back on the coaching, and that goes back on the front office to me. If they're going to want Jalen Green to kind of reach his levels, they got to clear out some space. And we've seen this with some of these games. They got Eric Gordon closing yesterday against the Pelicans. This man power dribbling between his legs 50 times just to turn it over at the rim. So it's to me, that's the question, is can they build a team around him to support him? Because I think him and KPJ can work out, and I think they respect each other enough. But Coach Silas is just so dead set on playing vets and not prioritizing the development of these guys. And I don't think he does. I do not think if you give Coach Silas 5 vets to close out a game, that man, if he had his way, would bench all the young guys, except the ones he think can help him win that game. So, that's really where I think the root of the issue is. It comes down to the coaching staff or the coach and his preferential treatment of certain players, and also the fact that there is a big just clog at that 3 spot of a player that overlaps both Kevin Porter and Jalen Green.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more about Eric Gordon. I've been so over Eric Gordon, me personally. I don't know how you feel. I don't know how about the fan base feel, but I feel like he should have left when Harden left. Truthfully, that was his window to get to leave. He was on, more of his upper side. He still wasn't 2 years older. He wasn't that far removed from a six man. He still had the playoff Eric Gordon lore about him. That was the best time to shop him. Now it seems like we're just stuck with Eric Gordon. And he seemed like he realizing that he's stuck here too. And he's just not, it's so crazy because he does good stuff sometimes, but then he does dumb stuff sometimes. It's like if we need a vet, if we're gonna have a vet, we need somebody that's even keeled, not too high, not too low. And he's no better than a rookie in the sense of a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get from him. And he's not vocal. He's not a leader. I don't know if they even look to him as really being a leader. I think they say like, oh, he's the vet in the locker room, but just being a vet in the locker room don't automatically grant you leadership. And I'm not sure that those guys even look at Eric Gordon in that light. Like maybe the front office do, but I don't know if these younger guys do. And he's just clogging up the rotation. We get rid of Eric Gordon, that means we see more KJ, more Tari. Hopefully we don't see no more Garrison Mathews. Seem like he's almost got that out of his system. Solace from just sticking Garrison Mathews in there on some crazy lineup that just throws everything off. But as far as Eric Gordon, yeah, man, I think he just need to be moved. I think he'll be better. This team will be better. I don't want to say he a cancer. But when you look at his body language, and how he's not putting forth the effort, if you give that to some diehard Tari Tari minutes or KJ minutes, I think we'll improve. Maybe not in a 3-pointer shooting and spacing wise, but just having dogs out there. There's somebody that want it over somebody that don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call EG a cancer, but I think he's probably he probably had his time here and come and gone because, like I said, it looked like he's just trying to just keep it together so he can make his next move. They haven't extended him. He said he wants the extension if they're going to let him know. So yeah, I get it. He's going to do what he got to do for himself, try to keep himself healthy. But man, I love Eric Gordon. I think the world of him as a player. I just don't think on this team he's the veteran that they need. I think he would be better served being on a veteran team where he can play his role and be good at it. But yeah, with the Jalen development thing, I think Jalen is going to be fine because ultimately, even though he may not reach his road in the prettiest fashion, I feel like a guy with his work ethic is going to get there regardless. And this kind of, to even add to some of the things that he has to hurdle over, the comments that Coach Salas makes about his lack of ball handling and their approach to that is like they want to pair him with Knicks and EG at all times. And then, there was another quote that was saying that Coach Salas doesn't think Jalen is up to being a primary ball handler, which to me is, once again, it's sickening to hear that. We know in this league, the best players, the guys that are going to have the ball in their hand, whether it's a big or a guard or whoever you are, if we don't think Jalen can't be that centerpiece guy that's going to control the offense, then I feel like then we missed out on the draft. You feel me? Because I would rather go get a player that I think could do that than just the off guard. Because I don't remember the last off guard. Hell, even Jason Tatum is over here handling the ball in the finals. It's like the PG. That man was literally running point, and he's a power forward. So I don't know what Coach Salas sees Jalen as, but it doesn't match up with what we all thought we were getting. And I'm not going to say I trust his approach in the sense that I feel like he thinks he's doing the right thing, but I think sometimes he overthinks it. Like I would rather watch Jalen turn the ball over 10 times than watch Eric Gordon win us 50 games. If Jalen averaged 10 turnovers a game, but he's learning how to play the position, because whatever EG doing right now doesn't mean anything to us in the big picture. And I just need this kid to be able to learn these skills.
All right, my thing is about Silas and the growth and holding back Jalen is he's not putting him in very advantageous positions to get easier buckets. Everything is more Jalen using his athleticism to go by one-on-one guys and mainly just breaking down a one-on-one. And then if he has the shot, he'll shoot it. If he don't, then he'll try to pass it. But I would say one thing that I'm concerned about, but I'm kind of pleased to see is some of those passes when he do have it, he's trying to fit it in a tight pocket or a tight window. So he's trying to develop those skills, and I think that's in spite of Silas. I think he's doing everything he's doing in spite of Silas, trying to put him in a box almost. Like, no, we're not going to let you dribble too much. We're not going to let you facilitate. We're not going to let you handle the ball. We're not going to let you run pick and rolls. It's not going to we don't even want you to make decisions besides shoot or go downhill. Either those two is all Jalen Green does. And I think it's kind of predictable to where it's hindering him, from actually budding out and sprouting wings and actually trying to learning a whole orientated offense. If you just got to score, that's all you're going to think about is me, how I'm going to get this, how I'm going to do that, how I'm going to do that. But once you got the ball and you got to understand the whole flow of the offense and who's shooting where from what spots, then that opens up a whole nother level. And I think under Silas, if he's viewing Jalen Green under this light currently, Jalen might not never get there under Silas because he don't trust him enough to do it. So that being said, we're going to roll right into kind of another semi-controversial take on it. I know we got some diehard Tate fans, and he just re-upped for 20-some million this offseason?
Yeah, I think it was 3 for 21 or something like that. Yeah.
Right. So we kind of put our eggs in the Tate basket, and I'm starting to wonder, was that premature? Should we just had probably cut bait with Tate? Because I know it's kind of hindsight what I'm looking at, but I thought KJ was better than Tate last year in my eyes. I already saw our replacement for Tate if he was to walk. But now we got guys like Tari and Jabari and guys like that Tate is almost obsolete right now. They rendered him obsolete because, first of all, he's not doing himself no favors by being injured right now, because we really seeing KJ spread his wings right now. He's finding his role in his offense, and he's looking like the glue guy. He can be with any lineup, and he's looking good in any lineup you put him with. I haven't seen him really look bad all year except for one half. Last game, matter of fact, he looked awful in the first half. But in the second half, he actually picked it up and did regular KJ Martin type things. And I think with him developing his three ball so efficiently, so quickly, it kind of made render Tate obsolete. How you feel about that?
I'm not going to say Tate's obsolete until Garrison, Mathews, Boban. Who else we got out there? Knicks, to a lesser extent, now that he's been playing good, till even Jay Gupp, because all of those people still get minutes. And I think maybe what your point is, and I will agree with your point on this, is that for that role as that starter or first guy off the bench, maybe so. And the numbers back it up. And I'm going to go to, once again, cleaning the glass. The lineup on their lineup filter, I'm looking at lineups with just the two forwards that we really like, which is Kenyon Martin and Tari Eason. People have been clamoring for KJ to start since last year. We got a lot of people supporting Tari. I can't argue with either one because they both dynamite right now. Then with the Garuba lineup, what they call the Goon Squad, when the boys play in 154 possessions, when I tell you it's real, this is real. They are a plus 28 net differential. They're scoring 121 points per possession, which is crazy high, and holding teams to only 93.5 points per possession. So that's a 28-point differential. The best iteration of this lineup is the one that features Daishen Nix, Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin, Tari, and Garuba. for a plus 42.5. And that's the 36. Actually, that's the second best. The absolute best is the one without Jalen Green, is Knicks and Gordon. So you got two basically non-super athletic guards with those three. And that's our kind of our bench unit right now. If you watch the games, that's the unit that comes in off the bench, which to me would be a perfect place for Eric Gordon to be, because he does it so well, right? Where he's not overlapping with Jalen Green, where he's not overlapping with Kenyon, with KPJ. He gets to play with a passive point guard that's not, shoot first, and Knicks, and a bunch of energy guys, so he can be maximized, right? Eric does his thing. Then with Jalen, he gets it too, and with KPJ and Jalen together, that lineup with them is the most frequent one at 54. That's still a +7 lineup, and that's good for us because we've lost every single game. So, that's a significant thing to be in the plus. So, just like you said, bro, for Tate to come back, I don't know whose spot he's going to be creeping into, but knowing Silas, they're going to find a way to get one of them guys to come off that goon squad.
For sure. Silas, he loved him some Tate. He just absolutely loved Tate. And I get it. He was the heart and soul, of the defense of this whole team for 2 years. But now you got to kind of separate your feelings from results. And do you want to keep your job? Because you clearly see that you have a synergy with this certain group of guys, and to bust that up, or to even negate the fact that you still starting Eric Gordon when he's clearly better in the 6-man position. His whole career, he's been better being a 6-man. When he was drafted by the Clippers, he came out. Yeah, he was trying almost, forced to be the starter and to be the man. But the more and more he grew in the league and found his footing, he was more of a 6-man, and it just fit him perfectly. I don't know why Silas is banging his head against the ceiling trying to force this man into the lineup when you have a clear better option, not even just by the look of thing in the eye test, the number bears it out too. So he's going against the grain on the actual numbers. And we know our organization, we're a heavy analytical organization. If you can get these numbers, Frank, they got these numbers. So why is he ignoring these numbers? So that means, again, I'm the onion guy. I like to peel back layers. If something don't look right on the top layer, I got to go see what's under this other layer. So if he's ignoring all of this, so if we connect the dots from A to B, is he trying to tank? Because that's always a option. I'm not saying he is. Like I'm more on a line with you that he just do dumb stuff and he can't save himself from himself. But
the thing with this dude, bro, is like you can't make rhyme or reason of any of the decisions. Like if you try to follow a trail of logic, peel the onions, you're gonna peel the onion, get to the bottom and find another whole onion there that still got the little silky skin on it. Like I've tried, bro. if you guys know from the chop shop, I try to be very like generous to people. I don't never just say, oh, this dude trash or whatever. But for Coach Silas, like it is literally really, really hard to find a rhyme or reason for the stuff that we do as a team. And I'm being dead honest.
Yeah, shout out to Tim Dunn. He wants Silas gone so bad from out of here. Like he just want him gone bad. And I'm starting to almost align with his viewpoints because nightly in and nightly out, I rarely leave the game saying, wow, Silas, you coached that one. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, dang, Silas, why would you do that? It's more questions than answers a lot with Silas. And like you said, there's nothing systematic about his rotations, his minutes, his who's shooting, his usage rate that he divides up between the players. It should almost be a pecking order. You know what I'm saying? Like KPJ, you're gonna shoot maybe 12 to 14 times a game. Jalen Green, you got a liberty, you're gonna shoot it probably about 18 or 25 shots a game. However, Jabari, you can shoot it about 10 to 12 shots a game. This is max. You know what I'm saying? This is what you need to do with these guys. And it seemed like he don't care. It's just Jalen Green lead this game and Sengun lead the next game and Kevin Porter Jr. have it. There's no established hierarchy with this team. Everybody want to play hero ball when it all boils down and the action don't work. They don't try to reset the action until another action. They just go ahead and say, okay, that didn't work. You got the ball, now you create. And that's fundamentally flawed in this whole reason. Like, you want to get the best shot every time, and you got 5 guys on the court. Utilize all 5 guys. I just don't see the utilization with our whole roster at a time. We got too many guys that we don't scheme for offensively. It's a thing. I know you play football, Frank. I play football, Frank. And I played a little organized basketball too. But when we went to go and do the scouting report, we didn't totally change our offense every game to suit who we playing against. We did what we're going to do, and we're going to do it well. Now, we're going to have some wrinkles that we put in at halftime to counteract something that we didn't expect coming in. And it seemed like Silas don't do that at all. It's like, this is what we do. And if, we're going to do this week, we're going to run the I formation this week. Next week, we're a spread team. No, find something that work and stick to it. It's nothing. It's always fluid. It's always fluid in the whole scheme. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I think what it looks like is he doesn't have his identity as a coach, so his team doesn't have an identity as a basketball team. And as he tries to find his identity, he's using the team to experiment in different things and what he wants to do. And once again, to me, like for us to watch NBA for as long as we have, if you're optimistic about a rebuild, then good luck to you. But we know these usually end bad. It's not a lot of teams that pivot from a star and just bounce back up. I think a lot of people tend to have that optimistic view of life, and they just hope for the best. I'm a little bit more pessimistic, but I try to be objective about it. If it looks bad, it's probably not going to end well. And I'm just right now, I still think, luckily for us as Houston Rockets, we're still at the point where nothing catastrophic has happened yet that you could say that, oh man, we out of there. So it'll come down to me. This season is probably the last buck of where the Rockets got to get serious. And that's from top down. If this is the stuff we seeing ongoing, I don't care what the excuse is, the team is done. Like, there's going to be a 10-year rebuild if we see some of the stuff that's still going on next season. So to me, this season is like everything past here, it counts times 10. So, for him, he needs to figure it out. I think he knows that. I think everybody knows that. He makes adjustments that they're just really, really slow. I think it's just part of him. He doesn't have all that knowledge base as a head coach. He has a lot of coaching knowledge base, but he's an assistant. And once again, if you played any sports, like you play football, like you said, your coordinators and your assistant coaches do not function like your head coach. Anybody that's played any organized sports know that the head coach is a different job than the guy that's helping you work out, the guy that's doing installation of a different offensive plan, or whether it's defense or y'all doing one-on-ones, all those things. That's a different job than the dude that asks the guy that's doing that, hey, what's going on with the offense? Hey, why is my team looking like this? Hey, why are, punishing dudes, cutting dudes from the team? A head coach is a manager. So a lot of those managerial leadership type things that you have to function as, that's what the head coach does, because you set the direction of your team and you hold your coaches accountable. So I'm just, I'm like I said, I'm giving them this year. I'm giving the Rockets this year. Even for guys like Tate, I think Tate can be a valuable player. I just think that, like you said, if we're going to run this thing where you get play time based off what your merits are, then a lot of these minutes will look different. So I'm just waiting for that to happen too. So we'll see, man. There's really no rhyme or reason to it right now. But I honestly think when Tate comes back, I think he'll be able to fit in as long as Gary Bird stays a DMP. Nick's minutes go down a little bit, unless he keeps helping Jalen out like he is. And some of these guys that don't need to be getting minutes don't get minutes.
Yeah. So my final word on Tate is he can, like you said, I think he's not trade bait. I don't think he's tradable. You know what I'm saying? He's not that bad to where he's got to be traded. But as far as being in a starting lineup, I think that we just have better options now. That he can be more of a secondary. I always seen him as a secondary off the bench type player. I never really viewed him as a starter, especially a power forward that's 6'4", 6'3", really probably 6'4" in shoes, and just got qualities, and like him and Sengun is pretty much the same guy. They like to get in the same spots and do the same thing, but he's 6 inches shorter than Sengun. You know, he's more center trapped in a forward's body. And I think he's just more suited going up against guys off the bench on his level talent than starting. And it's nothing personal against Tate, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think he can be here, and you know, I think they want him here, so he'll be here for a while, but I think in a less reduced role. So in that, transitioning over to, are we searching for wins now, or are we pretty comfortable in saying there's not gonna be many wins, so don't even look for them? Like, just whenever they come, they're gonna come, and don't plan for any type of winning going on in the near future.
I mean, I'm right now. If we get a win, I'm pleasantly surprised. I expect to lose pretty much damn near every game now, which is sad. But I mean, looking at our schedule, we got Clippers, Mavericks, Pacers, Warriors, Hawks, OKC, Denver, Phoenix, Warriors, Sixers, Spurs, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Miami, Portland, Spurs, Orlando. If we get 4 wins out of that, bro, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? That's if we get 4 wins, but I think it's going to look like probably maybe 1 or 2. I know we've been playing better. I know we can sneak out some wins, but even some of the teams that you think we should beat, like OKC, they're playing pretty good. You know, and we were talking offline before this. We got on here about how OKC was a playoff team, and they kind of just paused that to tank fairly quickly. And now that playoff team that Chris Paul took to the bubble is kind of back, and they're playing pretty good with some young assets on the team. So I just, I mean, I think that no game is really given to us right now, and I'd be surprised if we got 2 to 3 wins in the next maybe 20 games.
Facts. I had did that video about the 10-game stretch, and our 10-game stretch I did in that video, I think it ends right at Dallas. And I had said we're going to come out 3-13. So we got 2 of them. Can we get one now? Can we win this next Clippers game? Because I think we played the Clippers tough, like both games. Sengun had 2 of his best games against the Clippers. I think we kind of matched up good with them without Kawhi. But if Kawhi going to play, maybe that's going to be different. But I don't expect him to come off his minutes restriction, because he like to get his rest on. You know, Kawhi like to lay in the hammock and get paid. Maybe he take another, game off, and we see Paul George again. I think we got to beat them. I think we not got to beat them, but it just seemed like we owed them one. Even though we're the lesser team, I think they snuck out with 2 victories on us that really probably could have been our wins and on our side. Yeah, I don't see another win until maybe we get can we catch the Warriors slipping, because they looking like they kind of off. I wouldn't bet on that. Maybe I can't see really none Philly, but who gonna hold Joel Embiid? Like
Indiana, I mean, I think we can beat Pacers. We played them tough. I think we beat them in the preseason. Well, we also beat the Raptors in the preseason. But I mean, Indiana, I don't. The Warriors, I don't know, bro.
The Spurs, maybe. Can we win that Spurs game?
Maybe that should be a winnable game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's I'm gonna give us Pacers and Spurs, and the Spurs is a toss up because they're playing so well right now. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, Frank, one thing that I noticed last night, I don't know if you noticed it, but when we made that comeback, we switched our defense up to a zone, and we was playing heavily zone with those guys in there, and that actually frustrated the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't think they was expecting that, because we haven't run zone very much this year, but it actually spearheaded the comeback. Do you think we should tamper with that a little bit more? Because it seemed like our switching defense is just not suited for this squad.
Yeah, definitely. I think the zone is effective in stints because you can shock a team. It's like a change up pitch on a team. And Nick Nurse is the master of the change up of defenses in the middle of the game. It was actually really smart to do, and only works with if all 5 guys are basically hustling the whole time. And if you remember the lineup, that was the Goon Squad that was doing that. And the reason Nick Nurse is able to use zone a lot is because the Toronto Raptors have a bunch of Usman Garubas and Tari Easons on their team. A bunch of 6'8", 6'9", hyper, athletic or just flexible type defenders that are tweeners, that are long, cover space with a few steps. And so you got to have the personnel to really run it effectively so you can cover and close out really, really hard on those shooters, because that's how you beat the zone. So I think we can do it. We can't do it with our base lineup, obviously with Sengun or even with Bruno. But if Coach Salas would play those minutes to those Tari minutes, hell, can you imagine Jabari in there? Can you imagine that lineup? You switch out, go one guard with Tari, Jabari, with KJ and Garuba, something like that. So all that length, to me, that's why I really want to see Tari and Jabari at some point start, because what we saw in summer league, and we talked about this, is when they next to each other, they take over the whole half of a court because they so long. And when you trying to switch and you switch from him to him to him to him, like, that's a scary sight for a defender. So it goes back to the coaching, man. Like, are you going to put the right people in position to run that defense? Do you know who's better in the zone? Who's better as a switcher? What lineup should I do with this? Like, all that stuff is stuff that we have yet to be seen. We see flashes, we see stretches, whether it's by accident or just by dumb luck, or it's just that he actually knows what he's doing, is yet to be seen. But I'm not gonna give up on Steven Silas just right now. I'm gonna let him, what they say, dig his own grave. No pun on his life or nothing. I'm just talking about in the basketball sense. Let's see. I want to let him show me that he's a bad coach. And I know some people like, he showed you for the past 2 years. But I'm gonna let him, because I've been making it. I already told y'all I went back to stone now. I'm looking at this roster. I'm looking at the fact we don't have a backup point guard on, and I can't give 100% of the blame to Steven Silas. But there's a lot more he could do. We've talked about the issues with Jabari, the lack of creativity on getting him shots, the thing with Jalen Green that we opened up this discussion with as far as him, his development, some of the choices with benching Sengun. I mean, it's one thing after another. And, nobody wants to be an armchair quarterback. But if everybody's seeing it, whether in Houston or people in the national media, something there. So we'll see, bro. But that's a great insight that you saw. That is something I saw, but I didn't think about that. But I was thinking about the offense, how we came back. I didn't think about that defense that they ran. But I would love to see more of that in future games, especially with that Goon Squad lineup.
Yeah, man, it's just I hate giving my takes on Silas, because it's
you sound like you're trying to get him out of there.
I'm gonna declare right now, I'm tired of the Silas experience. I'm tired of it. At first, I was like, nah, let's just give him a chance. He don't have the right, I gave him every excuse, every leeway in the book, everything, man. And I didn't ran out of stuff. Now I'm gonna just be lying to myself. And I can't feel in being intellectually honest with myself, knowing that I'm not feeling this guy no more. Instead, he say, "Oh, nah, let's give him another chance. Let's give him a chance." I'm jumping on this fence. This side of the fence is he can go. Like, I'm indifferent about him now. Like, he's already shown me enough to tell me whether he can lead us to where we need to go. And he's not even a playoff type coach. He don't have that acumen. He don't have it. Like Frank Vogel and his other coaches out there that's qualified, that actually led teams to the playoffs, at least to the championship or somewhere close. There's some guys out there that can actually accomplish things in the league. Now, like I said the last time, sometimes we just bite off a little bit more than we can chew. And I think at this point, for him to get his first coaching gig on a rebuilding team with the youngest team in the league, it was just too much for him to chew. It was his dream, and sometimes our dreams become nightmares. And I think slowly but surely, it's looking like Silas's dream. Yes, he loves it. Yes, he loves being the coach of the Houston Rockets. But I'm guaranteed he have many sleepless nights at night. I'm guaranteeing you he's racking his brain. That's why we see the overcorrections on a lot of things. It takes him too long to correct, but once he correct, he overcorrects. And that's just like KPJ in his brain, like type of thing. Maybe him and KPJ got more similarities than we know, because it's like almost an OCD thing. Like they can't break it. It's almost innate to them that this is what they do. You know what I mean? And Silas, I just think he bit off too much that he could chew. Now, the next go round, if he get with a better organization that already got a few established pieces ready for him to orchestrate with, I think he'll look better as a coach. But right now, he's just not qualified. That's not what he had on his resume. It's not what he really came here to do. And he just bit off too much than what he could chew. And
I'm mad at that.
I'm ready for him to go. I'm ready. I'm ready for him. I'm ready to see a different. I'm ready to see something different, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I ain't gonna argue you down, bro. You ain't got no objections from me. But I guess for the sake of just balance on the chop shop, I'm gonna give that man. If y'all know the meme of the Gucci backpack with the string barely hanging on, that's where I'm at with Coach Silas. And I'm gonna just wait. But anybody that wants him gone, and I've seen some people that are very, very very tempered in their takes on Twitter, in person, like they're done with him. So I'm not, you know what I mean? I understand it, but you know, I'm gonna give him just a little bit more, but I'm not mad at anybody that feels like that.
And you know why I'm starting to feel like this? He's starting to remind me of another Texas coach, but in a different sport, Bill O'Brien. I'm starting to get that same. I'm starting to get that same feeling about Silas that I had for Bill O'Brien. Like we couldn't. He just couldn't get out of the Texans' way.
You on to something here, bro? What
you know
was
what
Bill
I'm
O'Brien touted as? What was Bill O'Brien touted as coming out of New England?
The offensive guru, supposed to be quarterback coach, right?
The whisperer, huh? All right, man. Hey, bro. You. It's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
You out here preaching, ain't you? He gonna call you Pastor Space. Pastor Space. All right, man. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go.
No, but that's what vibes I'm starting to get from Silas. You know what I'm saying? Because I love the Texans so much, and I love the Rockets so much. And when you see you got product on the field and you got the players in place and you underachieve every year over and over and over, you just get that sour taste in your mouth every time you see them. Just like, all right, I'm over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't had enough of this bad meal. I can't pretend like this is good no more. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't give you the excuse, oh, this your first Thanksgiving. No, you done burnt up the turkey. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm feeling about Silas, just like I did with Bill O'Brien. And like I said, I'm indifferent. Like, I think he's gone after this season anyway, truthfully.
Enough said.
For sure. Well, we're going to drop the mic on that one right there. Appreciate everybody for coming out, joining the Chop Shop once again. If you haven't, check out the merch we got in the merch store. If you haven't yet, go ahead and follow FTank58 on Twitter. Go ahead and follow me at Space Ghost 624 on Twitter. And, you know, keep the comments coming, keep the love going, keep the likes, subscribes, all that. We feeling it over here. We appreciate everybody that does their part to try to push our content out there. We don't never forget about you. You know, we love you. We're gonna be here for you. Thanks for joining us once again. Let's go Rockets.